Let me in. Start counting.
Started.
Stop counting. Welcome again to this new Amburo tutorial. This is the second chapter of the voice controlling series. On this occasion, we will try another approach. This will be harvesting the power of a browser in our computer by creating a web page and the aid of this JavaScript library called Artium. This library runs on HTML5 and gives us a special set of JavaScript instructions to control the browser microphone input and the resources to process the words that are translated from the sound of our mouth is producing. So basically, we will be able to define a set of instructions and link them to related tasks. Of course, these tasks will be JavaScript code that runs in the browser, so we can control everything related to the page we are in, like for example, opening new tabs or windows to the desired destination or changing behaviors or triggering new ones. But I will show you how can we do much more than this related to the page we are in. And this for me is the most interesting part. With one of these instructions, we can send a message to a server located on our local machine that runs with Node.js. And this message will be able to trigger more complex actions like the ones I'm about to show you. So the idea is to take advantage of all the tools and power of the browser and this library to create a simple system for controlling everything with our voices. So this project will be essentially a Node.js project. As we mentioned in the previous videos, we use Node.js mainly for its simplicity. We will be coding a server that lets us serve a main page. This page will contain the HTML code showing the UI that will be controlling everything, and will be importing the JavaScript libraries needed for its functionality. Also, the main server will be in charge of receiving the signal from the page in order to trigger configurable tasks. So let's get into the code. So, as you can see, we have our project with a main server.js file, a folder called views containing our main index.html page, and a public folder with the JavaScript folder containing all the JavaScript libraries. Going back to our server, we will see that we will be importing all the Node.js libraries required for creating the HTTP server. This server will expose our main HTML page in the first place, and then we will be listening for executing actions. So first things first, we prepare and configure the server. Things like setting the port, the path for different elements, and so on. Next, we will set the two main controllers, one with the verb get and the other with the verb post. The first one will be rendering the main HTML page, and the other will be receiving a simple JSON body with a string that will be containing the action identifier. This is our keyword to identify our action. And last but not least, we will be defining our actions. To do this, we will be creating a variable as an array, and as you can see, we will be defining keys in the array and we will be storing those keys functions. As you may guess, in this function you can do whatever you please, and you can define as many keys as you want, one after another. So basically, when a request on the do something controller arrives, a string is extracted from the do key in the JSON. We check if that string exists as a key in our actions array, and if that key object is a function, we will use this check in the future works. And basically, we execute that function like this. As you can see, By using this simple strategy, we can execute in a dynamic code our tasks. If we want to add a task, we can just add functions without modifying much of the code. In fact, you can just have a separate file for only functions. Also, you can have many files for functions separated by category. We will explore this way of working in future videos. By this way of working, you can make your code very scalable. Going back to our index.html, we will see that we have a head with all the scripts and links required. I'm not going to go deep into this since it's a basic HTML structure. I will mention only that we use jQuery for the style sheets required from Bootstrap, of course, the Artium library that will help us with the voice translation, and the main JavaScript controller that we'll be discussing in a second. We see the main body and table structures to show our information that will be rendering this interface. As you see, it's a simple display to show the basic information and a log in which will be logging what is happening in the browser engine in a very simple fashion. All the behavior of this page will be handled by voicehandler.js. If we go to this JS file, we will find first the log configuration, the Airtom library basic setting enclosed with a function. Here we'll be starting the engine and setting all the instructions, fader functions, and utility functions to control how certain icons behave. The chronometer control functions and settings another utility structure to show how can we control the page behavior. A function that will be in charge of sending messages to our server with a dynamic test, and finally, the function that will be controlling the starting and stopping our recognition system, basically by this button. That is basically it. So let's see how it works. Let me in. Start counting.
Started.
Stop counting.
6 seconds.
Reset counter.
Counter is in.
Open work tabs. Please take a look at the library page. Here you will find documentation how to use it. You will see it's very simple and straightforward. I would like to point out the power of this library and the incredible things that you can add to your page development. You can add dynamic instruction, and we will work with this in the future. That's pretty much it. Please subscribe to see more videos. See you in the next one and have a good one.